What you think of scrimmage yesterday?
We got some good work in. I thought it was really high energy. Obviously, we made enough mistakes that you're not or you got a lot of work to do. But I thought the players brought great energy to the field, and that part of it was a big plus. And I think we got a good group of young men, and I'm excited about that. Like I said. Well, you're going to find out that I'm not going to talk a lot about individuals, and I'll let you guys do that, and I mean that in a positive way, with what you see, I like to talk about them all, I like to talk about our group. We're excited about that. The biggest thing that we got to do, and particularly at my position, we got to find out, where the depth's going to be. We got a good pair of linebackers, you can't play with two, and we're going to focus on trying to create depth and come out of spring practice with an idea of who those guys can be, and then reestablish that in the off season and when we get back in fall practice.
Was that part of the Sosa moving them inside?
Yeah, just trying to see what we can do. One of our biggest goals is to get our 11 best players on the field. And, that's what we want to do. And there's no question he's one of our 11 best. I can tell you that today. Again, you may have to move some people around to get the 11 best on there. And, it was the same thing like with Randy Ramsey, his move, and he's been very good about it. He's accepting what we're doing. He's embracing his role, and we got to continue to do that. And then, the athletes have to respond.
Could he be when you move around, like inside one down and on the end the next?
You talking about Sosa?
Yeah.
It could be. It depends on matchups and we're not even there yet in terms of game planning and stuff like that. So, it'll basically will depend a lot on matchups and what we feel like we have to stop and where he can be most effective.
We're working with Sosa for a while now, off season, in practice. Kind of what's your take on him? He's obviously a really highly rated player.
Tremendous young man. Tremendous young man. Serious about what he's doing. I think he represents the program very well for us, and obviously, like you said, he's an excellent football player, but I think he's even a better young man, and that's important. And those kind of people that you want to be around every day, and he's fun to be around. He's a hard worker, and he's going to do well, as he already has.
What is it about him that enables him to be effective inside and in that spot?
Well, he's got fast twitch, and that allows him to play outside. He runs well. But, when you get him inside and that fast twitch, and particularly in the pass rush category, he's going to be on guards that, that normally aren't, their best protectors in the passing game. It's not always true, but it's normally true. So, that's, that may be something that we're going to do. We hadn't made those decisions yet, but, move him from side to side or, get him in the matchups that we want him in.
Gabe Richardson is a JUCO guy. Didn't play a whole lot last year, but he's running first team right now. What have you seen from Gabe that impresses you?
Well, he's got the whole package. And I think this scheme fits him a little bit better. He's not a guy that's big enough to necessarily line up inside of a tackle. But that's what we look for, and he's got good speed, so he is an edge player, and that's, that's where, it fits him better. So that's helped him. The scheme has helped him in terms of what we're doing, and it's a much better fit for him in what we're doing right now.
Do you get a sense maybe he's hungry? A lot of times when there's scheme changes, guys get a fresh start. Do you get a sense he's a guy that's kind of relishing that fresh start?
Well, I think our entire football team is doing that. That's what's neat about being out there with them every day. And they're responding to what we're asking them to do, and I think they understand that it's not easy. And football's a tough game. It's a demanding game, and sometimes I think the first thought you look at athletes and you think, well, man, they're just gifted and they're out there doing. And we do have some gifted athletes, but really it's work. It's what they do, and it takes a big commitment, to play college football on any level, but particularly in the SEC. and sometimes we lose sight of that and how much our kids have to do. You know, they got so many demands on them. You know, it's what they do in the off season, and they continue to lift during the season. You know, they got demands in the weight room. They got demands from the coaches. They got academic demands that are the most important thing that they're doing. And I think Arkansas has a tremendous support system for the entire student body here. And but I think sometimes we lose sight of how much time they invest in being a student athlete at the University of Arkansas or anywhere else for that matter. You know, so you hope that it's going to be the greatest experience that they can have, and I think sometimes we need to take note of that. You know, the commitments that they make to play play college football.
You've been pleased with the pressure you've been able to create with your front four.
Well, we're getting there. We're getting there, and again, it's scheme wise, it's a little bit different, in terms of what we're doing up front, and I think our guys like it. I think they enjoy it because again, we're going to put those guys in position to make plays. We want to be sound in every area that we possibly can. And hopefully, and I feel like we got a chance to be good enough that we're going to make some tackles on the other side of the line of scrimmage and get the offense behind the chains, and that's kind of been our philosophy, trying to make that happen when we can. We hope we can do it all the time. But again, our players will determine a big part of that. But we can help them some with scheme, but it's going to take talent, and we got some talent. We got a ways to go, but it's one day at a time. And if they keep that approach, then I think we can put a field of defense that that we can be excited about.
How far away are you from having a two deep that you like all across the defense?
Well, it's in different areas, and I won't mention what areas, but we're getting closer. We're getting closer, and then some of it's going to have to be done in the future by recruiting, and that's a big part of what we do here. I think athletes will see a great opportunity to come to Arkansas and have an opportunity to play and compete, not just play but compete. And what I mean by competing is getting this program back to the level that we can be championship contenders, and it takes depth, and that's the question that you ask. And there's been a lot of years that we said, hey, our first 11 are as good as anyone's, but it really matters, and I hate to say second team because, when we get a rotation going, we hope that we'll have some guys where the second unit is just as good as the first, because you got to have, if you're going to win championships, that's what you got to be able to do. You got to have that second unit that can go out there and play just as well as the first.
You talked about, obviously Greenlaw and Scoot have played a lot of football. Just how good a tandem do you think they are from what you've seen so far?
Well, I think good. I'm really pleased. That's with those two young men. Like I said, both of them have played a lot of football, and I think if they continue to progress, I think both of them will continue to play football for quite a few years if they stay healthy and continue to develop as they already have. And like I said, when I got here, those guys were not bad players. They were well coached, and they were good players, both of them.
What is it about them that impresses you after being around them for a while?
Well, both of them are really, really smart when it comes to football. Both of them run really well, and both of them are competitors. And I've always said that, in terms of evaluating personnel, and that includes prospects that are coming in. If you got a guy that has talent and he's willing to work, then that's when coaching, takes effect. Nobody's going to build a championship team without good athletes, and you gotta have those guys, and we've got some of them here, and we got to continue to go recruit those kind of guys. But I'm excited about those two, and I don't want to say too much. We hadn't played a game yet. It's all practice, but I guess I've said enough in the fact that I feel very good about those two.
And you said you got to build depth behind them, obviously. Who do you feel is good about maybe working into the rotation?
Well, we got 4 or 5 guys, and right now there's not a guy that I would tell you that's going to be the next guy. I feel very comfortable in telling you that those two guys, if things stay like it is right now, those two guys will be our starters. And, my biggest job is to get some depth because they can't play every play.
Do you feel good that whoever you may not know who it's going to be? Do you feel good that out of those 4 or 5 other guys, you'll find a couple good ones to be good backups?
Yeah, I do, and I say this kind of jokingly, but it's the truth. That's what I'm getting paid to do, So we better, and I better, So, but I think so. We got some guys that, it takes reps, it takes time, but yeah, there's 3 or 4 guys that I think will be able to help us before, we start that first game.
You guys were in, I guess, what kind of looked like a 3-2-6 quite a bit yesterday, what I would call it. Is that a product of trying to get the best 11 players on the field here, or is that something you were going to implement maybe no matter what?
Yeah, it's something that we've done for years. It's something we've done for years, and it's part of our scheme, and it's a big part of our pressure package. And, we do that because, when we're going to play enough 3 down that we're going to force people to prepare for it. And you're able to blitz from different angles. You're able to, to create overloads a lot easier when you got 6 DBs on the field. And to be quite honest with you, we've had great success with speed guys. When I say speed guys, and we got some defensive ends that can run, but I'm talking about those small guys. When we get them off the edge, it's been very effective for us.
Quite a bit of flair and personality from Ryan Pulley yesterday. Is that kind of the usual with him, and is he kind of passing that off to some of the younger DBs?
I think he and several others. I mean, and they're excited about what's going on, and the excitement is what they're creating by the way they're working. The way they train in the weight room before we ever got on the field. I think our strength staff has done a tremendous job in getting these guys to feel ready, and let's just be truthful about it, and you don't put it all there, but you win or lose games in the off season based on what you do in the weight room, and that's the big part of developing players. It's not just on the field; it's what's happening in that weight room all season long. It's what's happening with the nutrition staff, in terms of, making sure they're getting the right kind of meals, because you can go out there and work and work and work. If you're not putting the right stuff in your body, then the growth is not going to be what you expect. So, it's everybody that touches these athletes, our football players, they play a factor in how successful we're going to be. Now, obviously, the coaching is the biggest part of it, but you can be great coaches, and if you don't have all the support staff and the support staff, doing a great job, then you may not be quite as productive as you could be.
John, do you have any memories of going to Little Rock?
Oh, yeah. A couple bad ones too, for sure. But I've enjoyed playing there, a couple times, and again. But yeah, it's a fun place to play. We lost one game there that a couple of years ago, and when I was at LSU, that I remember as well as any of them that I don't care to talk about. But that the Arkansas offense did a tremendous job that day. They really did, and obviously they had some talent. You know who I'm talking about. Had a quarterback that could play with any of them, but
You're seeing the energy and the effort that you want to see at this point to kind of pick things up.
Well, it's good. It really is. But, if I think you'd be hard pressed to find a coach that tells you that it's at the level that that he wants it to be. Our young men are doing a great job, and what we got to do is that when we have a good day, just like any other area that we're talking about, we need to improve, and we gotta push them, and we've put them in some stressful situations already. I don't remember the exact number of plays, but in the scrimmage that we ran 100 and some plays. I don't remember the exact number, and we had some of them that that were stressed, and that's what you got to do. You don't want to get in your first ball game, or you don't want to wait to fall practice, even though there'll be some times in fall practice that's going to happen. But you want to take them, maybe to a point that some of them's never been before, and it's playing football is not easy. But it's a lot easier when you're not tired. But you're going to win football games when you're tired. and that's what you got to be able to do, and that's what that's all about is, and they've got to feel that and believe that and understand that, hey, the guy across me, he's just as tired as I am. He's been out here playing the whole game too, maybe, or whatever number of plays, and you can't blink, and if you do, then you're not going to be as productive as you need to be, and you want to hope and desire to develop a team with that kind of mentality. It's a mental part of the preparation. Is a big part of the preparation. Because it's at some point in time, in most games, somebody's going to blink, and usually if you blink, you're not going to like the outcome.
With Sosa, was it coming back from spring break that you guys talked about playing the nose, or how did that go coming back?
Well, we talked about, obviously getting our 11 best players on the field, and, that's what we want to try to do. And, like I said, he could play for us inside or outside. There's no question about that. And, it's about, getting things done for our football team.
I'm sorry, you might be repeating. So Gabe's ascension at the other end spot has kind of helped on that?
Well, it has, but we hadn't made any concrete decisions in terms of, hey, this is the way it's going to be, Getting your 11 best on the field, that may change, from week to week, depending on who you're playing and what kind of attack you're getting.
So, pace of play, what's it been like, and have you been through this kind of pace of play in practice before?
Yeah, we did. It was, very similar to, in terms of the pace of play, what Coach Sumlin did at Texas A&M, and it's been a long time since I've been around a team that huddle. This would be the fourth year, and I hadn't seen a huddle on the practice field, but that's okay too. That's kind of where college football has gone. That's what the fans like to see. It's exciting. Hopefully, as a team, we'll create more exciting plays in the teams we're playing. But it's like I said, you look around the country, and I don't know what percentage. I hadn't done that, but there's a great percentage of people that they don't even know what a huddle is. And we quit huddling on defense about 12 years ago. And we used to have the discipline huddle, and we did all that stuff, and we spent time, making sure they stood in the huddle the right way, and they did this, and they clapped. Yeah, that's what we used to do. We don't do that anymore. We started doing that about 12 years ago. And way back, all 11 guys would be in the huddle. But for 12 or 15, maybe even more like 15, our corners have never been in a huddle. Period. They're going to see personnel that's coming in the field. They got things in between plays. That's when other people were huddling. They got things in between plays that they need to recognize and get ready for, because certain personnels prepare them, and if we've done a good enough job, it kind of narrows the scope of what we're going to see based on some of the offensive personnel that's on the field.
You look like Coach Caldwell was showing off some of his old players at Pro Day to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's good to see those guys.
He's proud of them.
He should be. I mean, it's you spend as much time with these kids, and this is honest, as you do your own kids, and it's family, and that's the way we believe it, and when you're around them, long enough, you learn to trust them when they're the right kind of guys, and that trust in a period of time, you learn to love them, and that's not something that you just go out there and say. It's something that you feel. You care about them. I mean, you put in the kind of work and effort that we do, and like I said earlier, sometimes we don't realize the stress it'll put on our athletes. And when I quit caring about them, and I can't give them what they deserve, and I don't want to keep mentioning this, but that's part of my DNA. Number one, if I don't care about them, I don't deserve to be on the field with them, and that's just a part of my philosophy in terms of how I feel about coaching, and what coaching has done for me. And I'm in coaching because of the guys that coach me, and other than my mom and dad growing up, there's not anybody else that I had more respect for than my high school coaches. And
so, have the guys called you Chief?
Oh yeah.
Did you have to encourage them a little bit?
No. They asked me if it was okay, and I said sure, absolutely. I said that's what everybody calls me. So it's fine.
Could you help me with a certain play that was made? They had a long run. It was the first offense, first defense. Long run down to the 3. Santos made the tackle. The next play was a toss to the left, and I did not get who the tackler was. You remember?
Greenlaw.
And then the next play, I think T.J. Smith broke through.
I can't remember who made the next
Greenlaw made the first one.
Yeah.
You feel good about the mix you have of vets and second-year guys there in the back end of your defense, and how those guys are coming.
It's growing. It's growing, and they're learning some different techniques because we're playing a little bit different scheme in the secondary, and look, what we got is what we got, and we feel good. Do we intend as we go through this process to try to recruit and get better? Absolutely. And I don't, even if we were a national championship football team, that's got to be your goal. When you're losing somebody, hopefully, potentially you're recruiting somebody that's going to be better. And that's the way you want to do. That's the way you build championship programs. It's you can feel good about it, but you can understand that we got work to do. And again, a big part of that work is going to be recruiting and what happens in the weight room.
Well, you got it right now. You got 2 seniors on one side and a couple sophomores on the other. How are those guys mixing together?
Oh, really good, really good. It's and let me say this. I've been around teams that were junior, senior heavy that were great football teams, and then I've been around some teams. Probably one of the, and I'm not going to elaborate on it. Probably one of the best defenses that I've had a chance to coach. We had 5 or 6 sophomores starting. So, it just depends. Kids are growing up faster now, and I think coaches are allowing that to happen. Way back, freshmen didn't get on the field, and then all of a sudden, matter of fact, they couldn't play. And then all of a sudden, they started letting some freshmen play. But people were afraid to play freshmen, and, if they're good enough, you're going to only have them for 3 years. Let's tell the truth. And when you go out and recruit, and I know I keep mentioning recruiting, you want to recruit the kind of guy that's going to have to make that decision after 3 years. If you do that, then you're going to have a good football team.